Dave's Tackle Box. And good evening everybody, welcome to Dave's Tackle Box. It's Sunday the 16th of September 2012 and what a weekend it's been. It's been a great weekend. I'm in a cracking mood, frankly. I've had a brilliant weekend. As most people will know that watching this show, I was at Vapefest Ireland yesterday with my mate the Hi-Fi Stud and it was good. And I got some video. In fact, I got a couple of bits of video and plenty of things to talk about. So we're going to be having a look at a couple of little aspects of the trip to Abbeyleix in Ireland yesterday. Also, later on in the show, I'm going to be joined by not one, but two special guests. You probably guessed that one of them's Dugie, but I've also got VTTV's newest presenter to be. And he's going to be telling us just little bits of teasing information really about some plans we've got for a new show starting in October. So that should be good. This is kind of hot off the press. It's somebody who'll be familiar to a lot of you, and I hope you'll join me a bit later in welcoming him on board to Vapor Trails TV. But first, before we do anything else, I obviously for the last few weeks I've been plugging Vapefest Ireland, but I did say I was going to set up a sort of regular feature, if you like, a public information broadcast service for people who are organising meetups around the country. Any country really, but I suppose UK and Ireland probably that's where we should start. Now, like I say, my excuse is I've had a busy weekend. So I haven't packaged this up particularly brilliantly, but let's start by reminding you about a meet that's happening on the 13th of October this year, way up north, and that's the Knees Up, and we've got a little trailer for that one, so let's have a look at that. Oh, that music. That's one of those tunes that gets stuck in your head. I think it's very effective subliminal advertising there by the organisers, some of whom we know quite well. For more information on the Knees Up, you can go to forum.vaportrails.tv, and there's a thread going in there if you've got any questions. I've just had confirmations from the studio. They're saying that's why he chose the music. Guess who that was? Let's think about this. It's in the northeast of England, somebody who knows how to edit a trailer, and somebody who thought it would be a good idea to use that soundtrack on it. That narrows it down quite a lot really, doesn't it? Okay, Yes, enough of that. Enough of that. Now, so like I say, I haven't really done this little sort of segment, this little feature of the show as much credit as I could have done it. But there is one other meet that I do want to mention, because by this time next week it'll be too late. This Friday, the 21st of September, there's a Bournemouth vape meet. This has been organised by a guy from ukvapers.org. I gather he's got a Facebook page and stuff going as well. He goes by the name of Triphammer, and he's organised a meet-up, and let me just make sure I get this right. It's at the Cranley Hungry Horse pub, and that's on Clingan Road. And the postcode and the full details you can find if you just search for Bournemouth Vape Meet on ukvapers.org, and you'll find the thread there by Triphammer. It says it's from 7:30 onwards, a chance for vape enthusiasts in Bournemouth to meet up, have a beer, a vape and a general natter. And I can see by reading down that thread that there's quite a few people said they're going along. So if you're in the area, or even if you're not in the area and fancy a jaunt, Friday night, the Hungry Horse, Cranley, that's Clingan Road, from 7:30 onwards, organised by Triphammer. Pop along to ukvapers.org and let him know you're coming. And I wish you all the best with that one. It's one I won't be getting to, which always saddens me when I can't make a vape meet, but you know, you can't go to them all. So good luck with that one. Be great if anybody does go next week, if you could just drop me a PM through one of the forums, or send an email to inquiries@vaportrails.tv, something like that. Get a feedback, and I'll get it up there. Even better if you get a bit of footage, a bit of video, sling it across to me. Get in touch, and maybe we can show a bit of video if somebody takes their iPhone or something with them. Or even one of those Android things, I believe, can do that these days. But there you go. Okay, so that's about all I've got on that one for this week. So I'm going to get cracking. Like I say, I've done a nice little edited VT of Irish Vapefest later. But what I wanted to do is just look at a couple of products that I got both at the meet yesterday in Abbey Leaks, but also I wanted to talk about a product that I got on the way there. But let's start with the good stuff. I've kind of preempted there a bit, haven't I? Oops. I came back with one of these. This is an NGP Genesis hybrid thing, and this is rather good actually. It's got a touch switch. Look at that. It lights up. You probably can't see too well because of the green screen, but trust me, that's lighting up with a blue LD sort of inside the liquid, it looks like. And you just touch it anywhere around that rim. Touch sensitive switch. And that, along with this Orion, well, that completes my Genesis atomizer inventory actually. And when I get a chance to do the second part and subsequent third part of the little series on rebuildable atomizers I'm doing, those will feature quite strongly. I should also mention as well, I've also got a Bulldog SIM rebuildable from vaporworld.co.uk, which I'll be having a look at, and there's the steam machine and other stuff. So there's lots to come on rebuildables, and in actual fact our special guests, we're going to be discussing rebuildables a little bit later on as well. But there was other stuff I got there. I'm going to have to I'll be honest, I haven't sifted through it all yet. How I got through security at Dublin Airport yesterday without being asked some awkward questions, I still actually haven't fathomed. But they weren't even interested. We got things like this in there, and some much weirder looking stuff too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sift through that stuff in time for next week, and I shall do a couple of reviews, or at least a quick look at some of those things as well, and let you know what I think of them. So on to the subject of my first VT tonight. This thing. Now, this smells. This is the similar smokeless. And I know I saw that the organiser of Irish Vapefest, Shane, is in the chat room watching this live tonight, and I bet as soon as I held that packet up, I bet you could smell it again just from memory, couldn't you? Well, without preempting the video too much, I acquired this on the plane, and I thought it's worth mentioning, because yeah, I'm preempting too much. Let's go into the first VT. This is about the similar smokeless number 2. What a name, number 2. Yesterday I went to Vapefest Ireland, which was a great day out. To get there I had to take a flight and flew with the economy airline Ryanair. Now, I've heard before that Ryanair sell a sort of smokeless cigarette. For a while people were saying it was an electronic cigarette, but I knew that wasn't the case. So when the steward, the cabin crew came down and offering these things for sale for €6, I thought, what else am I going to do for this short flight? And I purchased a packet. They're called the similar smokeless. This is similar number 2, which I think is the flavour. I don't really know. It's supposed to be an American flavoured brand, and the fact that they've used red suggests that they think that it should taste something like a Marlboro cigarette. That was my guess anyway. Anyway, I opened the packet with some difficulty, but eventually got one of these things out, and I had a quick read of the instructions to see if there's anything to do, but apparently not. All you do is put it in your mouth and inhale. So I knew there wasn't going to be any smoke or vapour, but what I actually found was there was nothing at all. I'm going to demonstrate. This is a fresh one straight out of the packet. The first thing you notice when you put it near your face is it smells. More on that in a minute. The second thing you notice is when you use it, there is zero sensation of any kind. It just doesn't do anything. It's like sucking a straw. I've tried a couple now in case I had a dud one. If I look at the thing closely, I can see there's some kind of wadding with a kind of yellowy tinge inside there. And a quick look at the website for the people who make these things, and that's similarshop.eu, explains that there is a kind of filter in there with nicotine absorbed, and I'll read you some words off the website. It says that the nicotine and tobacco flavour is in the filter, and it's smoked in the same way as a traditional cigarette. It points out that it's not an electronic cigarette, and I'll mention some of that in a minute actually as well, because it got my goat a bit. No vapour, feels like a cigarette, blah blah blah. But the basic idea is you just inhale. They're talking about something like nano beads of nicotine, and there's just no sensation at all. There's not even flavour, despite the fact that there's a strong smell, which is not particularly pleasant in my opinion. There's not a taste or anything. I tried sort of squeezing the filter a bit to see if that would help. No. Well, anyway, I took it along to the packet along to Vapefest Ireland, and there I bumped into, amongst other people, Jemima and Gordy, who frequent the All About E-cigs forum, and Jemima and I have bumped into each other at a few vape meets in the last 12 months or so, and I let her try this thing, and she started messing around because she couldn't taste anything. She did comment that it smelled like silage. There are some other comments coming up on what it might smell like as well. But she did come up with an ingenious way of actually getting this to do something, and that is basically using it as a drip tip on her tank. Well, have a look. Get out of the way.
really is like licking a cow's bum.
Well, I'm really looking forward to this then.
Thanks. Ah.
It's not that bad. I guess maybe you flushed out the real horrible tasting stuff.
Get another one.
What flavour is it?
Rank. It's the flavour's called rank, and as far as I can tell, it's quite accurate portrayal.
Fucking rotten.
It's kind of like socky silage.
It smells worse than it tastes. Farted.
I think it's safe to say it's no RY5.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
Yeah, that's not very nice, is it?
Now, that's the only way we could get any kind of flavour or sensation or any kind out of these things. That I'm a little bit speechless. I really, normally when I review any product and I don't particularly like it, I try to see it from the point of view of somebody who might like it. But this doesn't seem to do anything. I said I'd mention about the references to electronic cigarettes on their site. They list a number of reasons, differences between this and electronic cigarette, and some of them are quite valid. You know, like similar smokeless cigarettes are not like e-cigarettes. E-cigarettes have electronic apparatus such as battery and a heating element, like you would find in an electric kettle. Fair enough, I suppose. Similar smokeless cigarettes do not have any of this. That's fair enough. But then he goes on to make comments like, similar smokeless cigarettes do not have any of this. There is no need to charge a battery, top up the nicotine, or endanger yourself by placing these items against your lips. At that point, I went right off this company, similarshop.eu. I shan't be spending any more money with them. If you want to try one, good luck. If you ask me, I probably wouldn't bother. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so quality item there. Honestly, just why? It's I saw a couple of questions in chat and a couple of comments that I was tempted to, but I swear to you, as I put that entire VT together earlier today, at no point until now, while I'm live on the internet, did it cross my mind that the amount of material that was there was smelly number twos. I think we better take a break. I'll see you in about 2 minutes and a bit.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
And here we're back. We're back. So that was absolutely no technical hitches whatsoever, were the lads? That just like went just as we rehearsed it. And right, okay. So Dougie, you know, and here's a new person. Here's Marcovanbasten. You'll know him as.
Hi guys, I've got a bit of delay here, but I should be okay.
Yeah. Are you listening through Skype or are you listening through the playback?
Skype.
That's the way to do it. That should be okay, but let's. If it becomes too problematic, let me know. Right. So first things first. Thanks for joining me, guys.
No problem.
I'm going to turn my attention to Marco first of all, and Marco, as you have probably sussed from what I said at the beginning of the show, is VTTV's newest presenter, aren't you, Marco?
I am indeed.
So he signed the contract. There's no escape now. and well, for those that don't know, Marco's been doing reviews for a little while now on YouTube. Has been quite active, certainly around the UK Vapers forum, which is where I know you're from mostly. And of course, 3 weeks ago at Vapefest UK, he put together that wonderful Perfect Day video, which, you know, I defy anybody not to have really enjoyed. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. And, well, to be honest, we had to approach you, really, didn't we? So, purpose of getting you on tonight, obviously we're going to talk about rebuildable atomisers in a little while. But would you like to just give a little plug for your upcoming show? What can you tell us about it? And I know it's not all nailed down, so
yeah, not a lot right now. We're going to try and get it on air early October. So we've got a couple of weeks to pull it together. It's format-wise. Do you want me to say about the format?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's going to.
We'll have as much detail as you can give us.
It's going to be a bit like the One Show meets Watchdog meets Panorama. So we're looking at doing. I'm looking at the wrong screen here. I'm trying to look at the camera. So it's going to be news, a bit of satire thrown in. We're going to get a bit of comedy in there at some point, but also some in-depth stuff. So if people want answers to questions, for instance, we'll be asking for them to email us with any questions they've got. We can look into things. So it's going to be a bit of investigative journalism in there. And name-wise, it's going to be called Vapor Scene.
Vapor Scene, right. So we've got the name. Yes, I know. You mentioned that to me earlier. I think that's a good idea. So Vapor Scene, early October is the target date, but obviously it ain't going to go live before it's ready. And so is this something? Is it going to be? You'll be presenting the show, I take it.
It's going to be me presenting, and then we're going to have input from all the regulars, all the other guys. We're doing some live studio stuff and some VT stuff, and some Skype stuff. So it's going to be interesting.
I think it's going to be fantastic. Actually, you know, we were discussing this over the last couple of days, and I'm excited about it. Actually, I think this is going to be an excellent show. I really do. Okay, right. So thank you very much for that, Marco. We better talk to Dougie, or we'll start feel left out.
No, you two. Carry on.
Okay, no, I think the first thing we've got to deal with is your daughter's gymnastics competition.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was her first competition today and she did really well. She got bronze in her age group, so
fantastic.
I'm happy. Very happy.
Well, tell her congratulations. Did she go to sleep in the end, or...?
She's rustling around a bit, but after the show I'm going to go up and sort her out.
Did she watch the Olympics? You know, is she expecting some kind of open top bus parade or something now? Or...
Well, we sort of like did that. We went to grandparents afterwards, so she
That's close enough, isn't it? That's close enough. Yeah. Well, you must be proud. Well done. Well done. Right. So the chosen topic of discussion tonight is rebuildables. Now, obviously, I've started putting together this little series of VTs, which is a kind of a little journey playing around with rebuildables, and I looked at some very basic ones last week and hope to get a little bit more advanced and start covering these things as I become competent with them. But something occurred to me over the last few weeks, really. I've noticed that rebuildables were, for a long time, because the concept isn't that new, you know. It's 18 months since I got my first rebuildable, and it wasn't new then, you know. And for some reason, though, there seems to be, it seems to be becoming more of more standard on the vaping forums, to the extent that at the Vapefest that we went to yesterday, they had a rebuildable workshop. They had a table dedicated to rebuildables, and there was a guy there, you know, sort of showing people tips and tricks on how to do it. I'll go to Dougie first. To what do you attribute this sudden increase in popularity of rebuildables?
A couple of things I feel. It appeals much to people who like to fiddle, engineering backgrounds, or, you know, anybody that just likes to know how something works. You know, you can build them to your own specification if you want. So say you've only got a 3.7 volt device, you can make sure the coil's nice and, you know, like 1.5 ohm, 1.8 ohm. So people who like to fiddle and make something to how they want it, it definitely appeals to them. But I also think it appeals in a way for longevity.
Right.
You know, because a lot of them are built to really nice specs, and
That's
you're
true.
only replacing a little bit, and it's pennies as well. So a cost side, I feel, appeals to a lot of people. The initial shell out for, say, you know, the proper dids, as I'll call them, the originals, it's a pricey tag, but to continue to use them is pennies. You know, the mesh and a little bit of wire. But I think that for me, the rising popularity has got to be to people who like to fiddle, and the
Okay, so you think it's just because the word's getting out?
Upkeep cost.
Yeah, you just think awareness is going up, and people are thinking, I quite fancy a go with that.
You know, they're getting posted around the place, and people are seeing things on them, and I hope it lasts, because from the, you know, I've only tried a couple which aren't the, you know, the full blown price ones. And I can see the appeal, very much see the appeal in them.
And, over to Marco. I mean, what effect do you think the I mean, Dougie made reference there. You know, the did as an example. You know, has got quite a hefty price tag comparative to the Chinese copies that are starting to appear now. I mean, I'm thinking myself, that's got to have an impact on popularity.
Absolutely, Dave. I mean, a lot of the Chinese ones, they're coming in, but most of them they're plated, so they're not solid stainless steel, for instance. But even if you go back to the Stardust, you know, it wasn't meant to be rebuildable, but people have been rebuilding those for absolutely ages.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, and then you've got the Vivi Nova tanks, and that's even before you get onto proper rebuildables. So I think the fact that the Chinese are kicking them out, and you can pick one up for, you know, $8.99, $11.99, and get a decent vape out of them. I think people are looking at the longevity of the devices, and the fact that certain things you might burn out in a couple of days or a week. So they're thinking, okay, if I spend a little bit more to start with on the wire, on the mesh, or on the wick, 5p to rewick it.
You know, and it really is pence, isn't it? It really is pence as well, isn't it? I'm sure that's got to be a factor. You know, I think a lot of people, certainly the people who frequent the vaping forums and the people who turn up at vape meets on the whole, are the kind of people who like to experiment with things and fiddle with stuff. You know, otherwise we'd all still be smoking e-lights or something, wouldn't we? You know,
absolutely.
And I think that's a really valid point. And the fact that it was a bit of a gamble, wasn't it? If you got to spend something between £50 and £100 to get a rebuildable, I'm thinking of things like the IATI and stuff that were around. The Bully A2, I notice it's like €35 now. but I'm sure it was close to double that for a long while. And it's a big gamble to shell out that much. But I think with these Chinese ones, people are going to try it. A percentage of those people are going to like it and go on then to buy others. Well, I mean, that's a topic in its own right as well, isn't it? You know, just before I get to that, I've got this third idea as well. You know, I mean, we are starting to see the stories surface now about sort of the leaked EU tobacco directorate documents and what have you, suggesting that there could be regulation or worse on e-cigs. And whether that's true or not, I've noticed on the forums that people are starting to talk about buying sort of juice by the gallon and things like that. And I think the rebuildables as well, you know, let's face it, that's a long-term option if things should become impossible or, you know, sort of impractically expensive to buy hardware. But
Yep.
But yeah, the point that we started to touch on there as well is, you know, I started to say, you know, oh yeah, people might buy a Chinese one, find they like it, and then progress on to, you know, one of the higher end things like, you know, the Penelope, the IATI, any of the Genesis or Genesis hybrids that are around. I'm very pleased at the moment with this steam machine thing, for example. But then it occurred to me that actually maybe you won't. I mean, what's your view on that, Doug? I mean, do you think, is that what's likely to happen, or are we starting to see the demise of the big waiting lists or something?
I think you're going to, with these, like say, these Chinese people turning up. It's either going to give a kick up the backside to the manufacturers that are knocking out these dids and they've got these waiting lists, either to employ somebody to help them speed up the process or lose money. It may not in the long term as well. They may be happy with what they're currently knocking out. It's going to do something to the market. You know, that's obvious. You know, it's going to have an effect. Hopefully, it's going to have an effect where it may affect the prices a little bit. You know, they might feel, oh, we've got to drop the prices a little bit here with all these, because some of the clones, as well, you know, I'm happy to call them, because that's basically what they are. Do a flipping good job.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, that's an ideal point to flip it back to Marco, because he made a comment earlier as well. He said, like, you know, the Chinese ones, they might not be solid stainless, for example, and I think, you know, it's pretty well known that most of these cheap Chinese ones that are coming out are sort of plated brass. Now that brings. That brings a couple of questions to mind. I mean, obviously, there's the, you know, you don't want sort of metal plate flaking off in your juice as you're using it, but there's also there's as far as I can tell, it's very sort of vague. But the whole idea of brass tainting the liquid. There is an expression. If you go and Google, for example, brass poisoning, you'll find some hits on it, but you won't find much actual medical evidence for it happening. And most of the studies that I've found over that stuff centre around brass instruments.
For the mouthpieces, yeah.
Exactly, the mouthpieces, but clearly the, you know, modern mouthpieces are plated with something. Usually chrome or something like that. I mean, how much of a factor do you think that might be, Marco? You know, it's just purely speculative, I know, because we don't really know, but it strikes me that there might be two kinds of people. If they buy a cheap Chinese rebuildable and want to stick with it, when it starts to deteriorate and the plate comes off, they could buy another one, or they could go and go after one of the higher quality ones, the solid stainless. I mean, I suppose what would you do in that situation? I suppose is a good place to start.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got an RTA, for instance, and you know they aren't particularly cheap. I got one of these V3s this week,
right,
£12, you know, and it's plated. But if you look at how much a decent 306 stripping atty is, you're looking at about £5.50, £6. They're not going to last forever, and you can't recoil them. So You know, if you go a month with a couple of those, you've paid for one of them. As soon as the coating starts to go, I'll put it in the bin and get a new one.
Yeah.
As well as getting, you know, a stainless steel one that I know is not going to give me that issue. But I thought I'd get one of these just to try it. To be fair, I've done a review on it, but I haven't posted it yet.
Right.
So you know, if you're going to start on rebuildables, there's little point in spending 50, 60, 80 quid on the must-have rebuildable if you're not going to get on with it. So spend £11.99, get a bit of wick and wire with it, have a play. If you don't get on with it, yeah, so much have you? You've lost, you know, a packet and a half of fags. But if you do get on with it, then you can invest in something that is nicer, shinier, made from stainless steel.
That sounds like damn sensible advice to me. And okay, we've got a couple of minutes left in this little section, so you can have a minute apiece here. Dougie, which is your next rebuildable? What you after? What you got your sights on?
I would like the Z-ATI Pro, but getting my hands on one of them is not going to be easy.
Wouldn't we all? So you're going for Nirvana, then you're aiming high.
Yeah, but if I can't get one, I'm sure I'll buy something else. I'd like to try the did clone that's come about as well.
Right. Okay. Marco, what's next on your list? If anything, of course.
Well, I think I've probably maxed out for the moment on vaping kit. I've also spent hundreds of pounds on video stuff and building new computers. So my vaping budget is a bit depleted.
Yeah, I know where that
but
goes.
I'm kind of more playing with different wicks. So you know, I've silica, stainless steel. I use quite a lot, but I've also got hold of some really nice unbleached, untreated cotton candle wick. So I'm going to be doing some of those and some cotton stainless steel hybrids. And it's just to get the best flavour, because I can just keep rebuilding this, you know, until a tube goes, and then just get another tube. But I wouldn't mind a decent did, but something nice, stainless steel and shiny.
Fair enough. Okay, and that brings us just about nicely to time. So, gents, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Dave.
Right, we're going to take another break now, and coming up straight after the break, it's the bit that everybody's tuned in for. It's going to be the Vapefest Ireland VT. Gents, thank you very much.
No problem.
So say bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Cloud9 Vaping, sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
The GG, because you want one.
iVapour and iVapour Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVapour.co.uk and iVapour-elixir.co.uk. iVapour and iVapour-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of VapourTrails.tv.
sponsors of Dave's Tackle Box.
So that was Dugie and Marco. So as Marco says, that's our new show, his new show, VTTV's new show, and that's going to be starting in early October, and that's going to be called Vapefest. And I don't even know how it's spelled. I've only heard it verbally so far. But I know we'll all join him in wishing him good luck with that, and I'm looking forward to it. Now, Vapefest Ireland. How good a day did we have? I left the house while it was dark yesterday morning, and flew to Dublin and met the hi-fi stud, Mr. Dawn, my mate Dave. Queued for ages for a hire car, and then we hit the road. And well, we took a camera with us. Actually, we took several cameras with us, and this is what we came back with. So. Shall I roll VT, as somebody said in chat earlier? Yeah.
Sat in a car
turn left on Swords Road
with Mr. Kitson, who is turning left onto Swords Road. Our sat-nav is guiding us towards Vapefest Ireland. And there is Mr. Kitson.
Hello everyone.
So this is going to be fun. At least we drive on the left in these foreign climes.
Yeah, but not fast enough. Get out of my way.
So off we go. All the way to Abbey Leaks, which is near Portlaoise.
750 metres, then turn right onto Old Airport Road.
There you go. We'll see you a little bit later on. Bye for the moment.
Well, I'm standing here with Scott from Vaporcast. It says that on his shirt. Scott, what are you doing in Ireland?
Well, visiting. It's a beautiful country. Twofold. One, to come to Vapefest Ireland. The other thing is we're on my honeymoon, so kind of roll them both into one. So luckily we were able to schedule it so we could swing by here.
Yeah, that's so. Did you actually arrange the actual marriage around Vapefest Ireland? Or
no, I actually got married almost 3 years ago now. But I've been so busy getting everything. We had a trip planned, and then that got pushed off, and we had another trip planned, and that got pushed off. So we saw, hey, we want to go to Ireland, and hey, there's going to be a Vapefest, the first one. Let's
well, I'm going to ask you. I mean, obviously, Vaporcast. We all know about Vaporcast. We see you guys going from strength to strength. You've been to most of the big US vape weeks.
Right.
This obviously is the first Vapefest Ireland. What did you think?
I think it's great. I think there's a great turnout, great vendor support. The prizes were fantastic for the raffle.
Weren't they just? Yeah, there's some really good stuff in there.
Right.
Did you win anything?
I didn't. I didn't have any euros to buy tickets with.
Right. You could have had mine for €5.
I don't even think I have €5.
I didn't win anything. So, tell us about Vaporcast. Where are you going next with that?
All right. Okay. Well, we're still doing the podcast. We're a little bit behind. It used to be a weekly podcast, and then it went to 2 weeks, and now it's about a month.
Yeah, that's the problem with honeymoons and Vapefest.
Well, we've got the store going, the Vaporcast store, and we're also building out a retail location.
Okay.
Which in the city we're in, it will be the first e-cigarette retail location. So it'll be retail, it'll be a lounge space. Also, we'll have a juice mixing room. We're growing that in size.
And where will that be based?
Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, okay, yeah, okay. And we were just talking, obviously, before we switched the camera on, and you're going to send some juice over for the Vapor Trails TV viewers as well?
We'll send some gifts for you.
So we'll be arranging some kind of giveaway there. And, right, well, I'm going to get back in. Scott, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Wonderful meeting you. Yes.
Thanks for... Cheers.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
People came from Italy, from Dublin, from the north, from everywhere to be here today. The UK as well. The dedication to come and share in the, USA as well, to share in the event and the industry, get involved in the community. I think it's a fantastic thing. So thank you to everybody who came all the way.
Right, I've finally managed to get hold of Shane. Shane, Newmark on the forums, that's right, isn't it? I met Shane at Vapefest UK last month. Seems like a long time ago now.
3 weeks ago.
Is that all it was? 3 weeks. And Shane is the brains and the labour and everything behind Vapefest Ireland. So the very first Vapefest Ireland, how did it go?
Absolutely, I'm very happy with it. About 250 people, maybe a few more that snuck in the back door. So.
It's fantastic, isn't it? I mean, I've got to say, from the point of view of a visitor that didn't win a raffle prize,
Dave Dorn got it.
Yeah, Dawn did as usual. It's been absolutely fantastic. The support from the vendors, especially with the raffle prizes,
unbelievable. You know,
it really was.
10,000 euros, and that was about 3 weeks before. You know, I didn't touch up all the rest of the stuff to come in after.
Wow.
So I reckon about 11.5, 12 grand worth was given away.
Wow, that's incredible.
The juice bar, the giveaways, 100 giveaways.
Yeah.
People that come in the door.
Well, that's fantastic.
Unbelievable, yeah.
I think the thing that stands out for me as well, as with most of these meets, is the whole sort of community sort of spirit that's there. I've just been walking around with somebody called Mary, who just grabbed hold of me. I've never met her before in my life, and I spent the last 30 minutes like advising her on which atomizer to use with her raffle prize.
We even had a few smokers here today that have been converted.
Really?
Confirmed that, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
Of the
That's
staff
fantastic.
in the hotel, I was working on them before Vapefest when I was coming up to check out the hotel. And they went off with kits and everything, and they're happy out.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's really good to hear.
One of the things I wanted to happen out of it as well.
Yeah.
Spread the word, spread the gospel.
So I assume there's going to be a Vapefest Ireland 2013, is there?
All going well anyway.
Yeah.
All going well. Hopefully I'll get some sort of a committee in place.
Yeah.
It was a bit
you get a bit of help.
to get the info. It actually got a lot bigger than
So
I expected.
I know we've got lots of viewers in Ireland. He's new Mark on the ukvapers.org forum, so you could PM him if you wanted to help. And I'm sure he won't turn you away.
I did get great help though from the lads on the Irish forum boards.
Yes, okay.
And Jaded and Wayne in the UK, organiser UK Vapefest, were absolutely great. We Jaded done some graphics.
He's good like that, isn't he?
And Wayne gave me the UK drum thing for the raffle. So
fantastic.
They were great help, you know.
That's good to
it's
do.
appreciated anyway from everyone, all the support.
Well, on behalf of
even yourselves, like.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's good to have you here, and
well, thank you. It was great to be here. You know, on behalf of certainly me, I just want to say thanks very much. It was a wonderful day. We've got to shoot for a plane, unfortunately, so we can't even stay and enjoy a beer with you. But yeah, keep up the good work. It was brilliant. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Time to go, Dave.
That's it. We've done Vapefest Ireland. And
Tick.
now go back to the UK.
Hopefully, it's right now.
You never know.
We better get a shift on as well, because I don't think they'll wait for us. And that was Vapefest Ireland, and it was every bit as good as it looked in that video. It was just brilliant. Dave and I, as you saw, we travelled there together, at least from Dublin Airport, and went our separate ways on the way home. And as we arrived, we both sort of commented as we arrived, the number of people who came up and said they recognised us through VTTV or through YouTube stuff that we'd done. It was we were just staggered, basically. It's a bizarre feeling. I know I've commented on this before, when you know people through the internet but you've never actually met in the flesh, and you then meet for the first time. It's quite an odd sensation. It's like you're meeting somebody for the first time but you already know them quite well. So from the point of view of being a vape meet, it ticked all the boxes. From the point of view of the event organisation, it was fantastic. From the moment you walked through the main entrance to the moment we left, the facilities were fantastic. The Guinness wasn't bad, and although I saw some comments in chat there, you know, about why weren't we drinking. We had 1 pint of Guinness as soon as we arrived, because we had to drive. I had to drive back to Dublin, and then Dave had to drive home from when he landed back in the UK. But I really got to hand it to Shane. I think for somebody organising that, you know, this isn't like this was the first Vapefest Ireland. It was the first meet of that sort of size in Ireland, and Well, let's be honest, it's already the second biggest in Ireland, in UK, and probably Europe, you know, so it was a fantastic achievement. The vendor support was fantastic, you know. You saw in the VT there, Shane estimated that there was something like 11.5 or 12,000 euros worth of prizes given away, either as at the juice bar and gifts as people arrived. You know, that is incredible support. And for my own part, it was nice as well to meet vendors that I haven't met before. You know, I attend a lot of the UK meets and know most of the UK vendors. It was great to meet some of the Irish vendors as well. A big thank you, because nobody's going to do this if I don't, I think, but I want to just put on record my thanks to Shane's wife Claire, who was absolutely lovely and was busy there selling raffle tickets as we came in, with Shane's mum Vivian, and it was such a friendly atmosphere. It was fantastic. I had a great time, and I'm going next year, you know, one way or another. If I have to swim, I will go next year. So well done, Shane, well done all of you. It was a fantastic event. I'll get that video up on YouTube, probably not tonight, probably next Friday when I'm back in the UK. But I think we're must about run out of time now. I could go on for hours talking about that event yesterday. It was wonderful. So got plenty of toys, which you'll be seeing in the coming weeks. But until then, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just going to play us out with one last plug for the Knees Up in October, because I'm getting all sort of vape meaty here. So I'm going to play us out